All right, we're good. There we go. There we go. So yeah, I was saying we had your husband on last week, Bob. If anybody tuned in last week, one thing about Bob, he says a lot of things that may sound from left field and right field and center field, but it always hits home, and it always seems like he's usually right. But you're on the other side. You're the balance beam to all that, and you've been instrumental into my life just because your product has, really changed my physique, really changed my mental clarity. It has changed my diet, my just flushing out my body. So I definitely want to have you on to really speak about the body right now, the importance of the mind right now, and the importance of having the overall balance to be able to kind of move around in the world that we live in, which is with so much, up and down going on. So I guess start off by telling the people where you're from and how did you get into the medical field?
Right. Well, I'm Canadian, so it's been moves from Nova Scotia, Canada, to Toronto, Ontario, to New York, and then to Maui. So that's what's behind me is Maui.
Maui,
and
nice.
I guess I was always interested in health and nutrition and exercise, but nobody would listen to me. So when I was in university, after Bob and I traveled a lot, and then I went back to university, I was in biology, and my subject was genetics. So I joke that I wanted to find the stupidity gene and just remove that. Because
question, when you say the stupidity gene, are you saying because in, medicine overall, there's still something that we're missing where it's like, okay, if we're going to put these, these chemicals, whatever this is in our body, there's going to be some type of an effect. So we got to start waking up and maybe figuring out, is there an option? And that's kind of like where you come in, because, you're a medical doctor and a naturopathic doctor. Can you explain the two?
Well, it's like I'm saying about being interested in nutrition and exercise. That's more naturopathic medicine.
Oh,
but
got it.
People don't listen to that. I mean, it's a real degree. It's another kind of medical degree. And I got that after I got my medical degree. But I went for medicine so people would listen to me. Because, doctors and medicine, they're pretty stupid. And then humans who don't have the right information, they end up making stupid choices. And what medicine has done to us is made us think that, oh, you can do whatever you want, and then we'll have a drug to fix you at the end of the line. And that's just not true. Because when I went into med school, I thought, and that's in the mid 70s. I mean, that's a long time ago. And I thought that by now, every doctor would also be a naturopath, telling people what to eat and what to do. No. It went totally down, big pharma. Everybody has to take a drug. And drugs that we were taught in the mid 70s in med school, you take this drug until your body can catch up and you're feeling okay. You stop the drug. But now they've got people on half a dozen drugs to prevent disease. Now that's just BS because drugs cause side effects. Every drug that's ever been invented causes side effects. And those side effects get mixed up in a person's disease picture. You don't know what's causing what. And the doctor gives you more drugs.
So question, you said that gets mixed up in a disease. So I want to break down maybe a common disease for people in the African-American community, or African-American men. It's something like a prostate cancer. That is something that has taken a lot of lives of, men of color. And I'm sure other races, but I'm speaking for myself. So can you talk about how something like a cancer can maybe stem from something else, not necessarily what the overall scope is of a particular thing like that?
Okay, I'm thinking of 3 ways of going about this. Number 1 is the prostate can get inflamed. It can, like women get vaginitis. Well, men get prostatitis.
Okay.
And the cause of that is often yeast overgrowth.
Overgrowth.
Women get yeast infections and you pass them back and forth. And the whole thing about yeast, I mean, I didn't think I'd be talking about yeast on your show, Jack, but here we go.
Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. So yeast are in our large intestine. They live there. They do a job for us. They actually help create some vitamins, but they also chew up dead stuff that doesn't get digested. So in your large intestine, these yeast will chew up the crap that's left over, and then you eliminate it. It is just like the molds and funguses in the forest. When a tree falls over, mold and fungus covers it and eats it up. It's got a purpose. So it's in the large intestine. But what's happened with us using all these antibiotics and cortisone, women using the birth control pill, the yeast, well, actually what happens, it helps to grow the yeast, the birth control pill and the cortisone, but the antibiotics kill off the good and bad bacteria in the intestines and leave this big vacuum for yeast to grow. Because yeast will they'll take over this room, overnight if they have the environment. Oh, anyway, so the yeast will grow up. They start out as buds, and then they turn into these threads, and they move up into the small intestine, and then they start poking holes there. They move down into the genitals, and they start, irritating that area. So they're directly irritating, but they also produce 178 different toxic byproducts. So, and that can affect people from head to foot. Yeah.
So basically, the yeast can also have an after effect in 178 other ways, like 178 different things could stem from yeast if you don't take care of it.
Yeah, those 178 different chemicals, the body has to fight the chemicals. Sometimes those chemicals cross-react. Like a lot of people, they'll get psoriasis. Psoriasis is a result of yeast toxins getting out on the skin.
Got it.
And you can get brain fog. You can all kinds of rashes from yeast.
Got it.
And so we're back to prostatitis. So one of the things the yeast can do is irritate the prostate. So what does a guy do? Go to the doctor. Oh, I got these symptoms. What's going on? And they'll give you an antibiotic. Now, what did I just say about antibiotics? They kill off your good and bad bacteria. And so they're going to make more yeast grow. So you can get worse and worse and worse with the prostatitis. And the thing about prostate cancer, cancers can be an irritation. So if you've got an inflammation, irritation of your prostate that's constantly, scraping away, that's going to change your cells. They've done studies on animals where they put the poor animal in a little brace and they scratch its skin, for however many hours a day, develop skin cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, cells react to irritation. So I'm saying that this irritation of yeast as a prostatitis that's not treated properly with a diet and natural antifungals can develop into something worse. Now, there's something else that, I know I've talked to you about, the total biology approach of health. Total biology is a conflict basis of disease. What's the conflict in a person's life to give them a prostate cancer? And what the total biology people say is that it's a man who doesn't believe that they're going to, they're not going to have descendants. They're not going to create a bloodline. They're not going to have either children or grandchildren.
Got it.
That even, especially subconsciously sets up this dynamic in the mind that says, oh my God, this is the end. When I'm gone, everything, dies with me.
Got it.
And the brain will if that, you know, even becomes a bigger conflict. Hey, say a guy sees his daughter fighting with the boyfriend, and then hits him. Oh my gosh, you know, they're not going to, you know, get together. They're not going to have kids. I'm not going to have a grandchild. I'm dying. And what the mind will do so that it won't just become a constant gramophone thought of, oh my God, you know, where's my life going? The brain will put the supposed answer to the problem into the organ that's being identified as the problem. It will make the prostate cells grow to produce more seminal fluid to supposedly, you know, create more sperm and create another kid so that that kid will get married and have kids. I mean,
that
it's
is crazy.
totally like animal instinct. But I'll tell you, Jack, it's fascinating to me. It took away my fear of cancer when I learned about total biology, because maybe I'll tell you, the guy who kind of discovered this or made this theory, he's a German guy, he's dead now, Gert Hammer. His son over in Europe was fatally shot, or what do you say, fatally wounded, and died 3 months after a gunshot wound by some royal prince over in Europe. So he couldn't get restitution. He was sitting at his son's bedside for 3 months. 3 months after his son died, Dr. Hammer developed testicular cancer, and his wife developed ovarian cancer.
Same areas too.
Yeah. Their brain just was so freaked out that the body said, okay, we'll fix this, we'll get you some more kids, you know, here's your testicles, we'll get you some more sperm, here's your ovaries, we'll get you some more eggs. I mean, they were probably in their 60s, so it wasn't going to happen. But, I mean, that is how incredible our mind is to be able, you know, to try to help us work through things. And every organ in the body had something going on. Like if you're having a problem with an inheritance and you're fighting for your inheritance and your money and your this and your that, you can develop a pancreas problem. The breasts, you know, women, oh my gosh, all the breast cancer that's going on, it's horrible. It can be where the woman is trying to nurture either a child that's sick or a parent or her partner, and she develops some excess breast tissue, mostly in the milk ducts, to try to nurture the problem.
So it's having a reverse effect. Yeah.
Wow. So then what happens? I mean, this can go along, and then the woman said, oh my gosh, I feel a lump, and goes to the doctor. And what do? They start cutting out your breast.
Yeah.
And one of my teachers, he said at the time, I mean, it's going back 10 years or whatever, he said he'd had like a dozen women with breast cancer diagnosed on biopsy, and they got to the root of the conflict. Well, you know, is your partner, your mother, father, or kids, are you in conflict with them? And then they talk it through, and then the breast tissue would recede. It would start going down.
So they identify the problem early. Well, not, you know, a lot of times they say identify the problem in your body early, but it's almost like identify the problem in your world as well. Like, don't just think, okay, I got a thing in my stomach, let me identify with my stomach. Like, let me think about, okay, am I stressed out on some stuff that's happening at work? Is my son doing bad in school? I think the first thing the mind does is automatically go into like recover mode and like, oh my God, it's over. Instead of thinking about, like you said, total biology, and also just like the overall scope of just having a balanced life, just being balanced.
I know.
Probably the toughest thing to do.
I know. And it's partly that medicine has given us the direction that if you have a symptom, you get yourself to the doctor.
Yeah.
So you get to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't know you. I mean, the way medicine is, when I had a family practice for 12, 13 years up in Toronto, I knew my people.
Yeah.
They came in, then they'd get married, then they'd have kids. I mean, they were with me for a long time. That's not happening now. So you walk in, they don't even ask you if you're under stress.
Yeah, they don't even ask you. Yeah.
You know, they just want to get the symptom and here's the drug. So it's up to us to, you know, talk it through. Well, what's going on? You know, you have a pain in your neck. Well, the first thing you should say to yourself, well, who is in my life is being a pain in the neck to me?
Oh, so it's almost like that easy by design. Got it.
It's that simple. You have a stomach pain and, you know, you're throwing up. It's like, well, who in my life is making me sick to my stomach? So,
and it's like, remove that person. You have to identify that.
Yeah.
And once you're able to identify, you can either remove and choose to deal with it, and you'll keep seeing, I guess, the problems on the body as well. Yeah. So I want to talk about this balance. I want to get into I've been on your products for about 4 years now. And, you know, I literally have taken them every day, everything from your Remag to your Flora Revive to your vitamin C to your Pico Silver to your Realign to the RNA drops to the Restructure. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take some time out. I'm going to bring up one of your products into the camera, and I want you to explain what the product is and what it does for the body and why this is different from whatever else is on the market. Okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Cool. Nice.
So we're going to start with probably my favorite, Remag. Yeah. Can you explain what is Remag? This is a liquid formula, ladies and gentlemen. Remag, I've taken this for 4 straight years now. This is my magnesium source. So take over.
Okay, so when I was in New York, after Toronto, I went to New York to do a study on AIDS and chronic fatigue. And over time, I was doing some TV there. I was on The View a lot until it got crazy. And then look at you.
I'm trying to balance my life, but it's not working. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, Jack, when you first talked to me about, you know, your stuff, you had some leg thing going on.
Yeah. I did.
Something going on, and I right away.
Hey, babe, Jermaine just joined. I have to say hi to my baby. I love you. She just came on. All right, but
So yeah, you start taking Remag. So anyway, back in New York, Random House asked me to write this book on magnesium.
Okay.
And everything's backwards. Look at that.
Yeah, it is backwards. I can see it, though. I can see it. Oh, there, I can see it.
The Magnesium Miracle. So when I was writing that book, I realized that my own heart palpitations, neck pain, headaches, insomnia, leg cramps, back pain, they were all magnesium deficiency. I was a mess. And yet I was operating at a really high level. I was just pushing through, using up my adrenaline.
Yeah, using your adrenaline.
Yep. So I was researching for the book, and I started taking magnesium. So as soon as I started taking it, it went right through me. Because most magnesiums are a laxative.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to do is take a laxative. So
100%.
I was stuck. I was totally stuck. So because I wrote the book, I had a reputation about, you know, magnesium. A lot of companies were using my book to sell their products.
Yeah.
So I started.
How'd you feel about that? Okay, this is the thing I'm going to talk about on the business marketing side, not to throw you off, but, you know, at some point, you know, no one ever listened to you. You build this, you know, beautiful infrastructure. I mean, I've been to your warehouse. It's almost like a football field. And you rewind from then and you fast forward to now. And it's like, if you look at it, it's like it almost helps when other people are using your book to sell their product because they don't have your product. They may have like some other thing, but they don't have Remag. So can you tell me about that process of being like an entrepreneur almost, of no one really believing in you and jumping on your own thing and having to deal with like people using your stuff for their benefit and you're still behind the scenes. But now, I mean, I know I've seen your shit. Your shit is humongous. Like, if you ain't killing it, you don't have a football field as a fulfillment center and a warehouse. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was interesting, Jack, because I mean the book came out like 2003, so it was like for 10 years, I guess, I was the spokesperson for magnesium. So I was selling the books. What did I make on a book? 80 cents a book.
80 cents a book?
Yeah.
Damn. What you eat with that? You couldn't get none with that. Well, what year was this? What year?
2003 it came out first.
Oh, damn, you can't eat it. You can't even get enough. You can't even get 99-cent fry. 80 cents.
So I was
Fucked
this,
up.
you
Fucked
know,
up.
magnesium guru making 80 cents a book. And that was okay because I was just giving out information. Information is important. And then, you know, I was writing a lot. I'd written about 35 books. And now I've got 20 more books that are free on my website. We'll talk about that. I'm
website is pinned.
Getting the information out there. But by 2008, we had a big crash. And people started writing me because I was doing consulting. I was available. I had my website and everything. And people were saying, look, I don't even have time to read a menu. I have no time to read your shit. Your stuff is good. I love it. And I don't even have time to implement it. Just tell me what to take.
What to do, exactly.
Tell me what to swallow. I'll do it. So I started realizing, Jack, that okay, you asked for it. I'm in the middle of trying to figure out where to get a good magnesium. Nobody's helping me. Oh, it costs too much research. So I finally found a chemist who 18 steps it takes this guy to make that Remag.
Oh, really?
18 steps to break it down from a magnesium chloride compound down to stabilized ions of magnesium that are picometer in size that will jump right into the cells. Earlier you were saying to your other guest about it's a cellular treatment. It's like I don't treat disease. I don't treat anybody. I treat cells.
Treat the cells.
Everybody's cells are the same. So it's like, let me put this in your cells and you're going to be a different person. So that's what Remag is. It's a stabilized picometer size ion of magnesium. And one of the other things about marketing and everything is you have to prove your product. You can't just hype your way through nutritional supplements.
Exactly.
Anymore. You can't just sell your hype.
I want to speak on that because your hype is already selling on itself. I know I've read that Purdue University did a study on Remag, and I mean, they couldn't believe how much what the absorption rate of this was. It's like the proof is in pudding, like you said. So tell me a little bit how that felt when, you know, you have Purdue University saying, you know, this is probably the best magnesium product on the market, and we have the study to show it. Yeah,
that was awesome. I mean, Ginny, my right and left hand girl, we went to Purdue and we met the team, great team, and we told them what we were experiencing with our customers. You know, people getting off their heart medications, getting off pain medications. We told them that this stuff works. We told them that people will take a teaspoon of this stuff and say that their symptoms go away. Of course, we tell them you got to keep taking it, but Purdue, they didn't believe it. So, but they were nice about it. But they took our liquid magnesium and they ran it through a laser system that bounces light off compounds. Now, if there had been any solid compound in our Remag, it would have bounced off and showed up on the spectrograph. It didn't show anything. The light just went through this substance because it's so small, you know, at the size of ions.
Yeah.
They did that test 3 times before they believe it.
Wow. Wow.
So there was that going on. And then we had human subjects that would take 1 teaspoon, 300 milligrams of the Remag, and within 2 hours, it was in their cells. And and they couldn't believe that either. So right now, our scientist, Taylor Wallace, he's written a paper about magnesium and COVID. He's heading up 5 other studies for us. He's come to Scotland with us next year to a big magnesium conference to present papers. So what I'm saying, when you have a product that's so good, you could just work it on hype. Don't stop there. You know, do your research, do your due diligence, because nobody else is going to do it.
Exactly.
You know, I can hand this study out, and no other magnesium company or mineral company or supplement company, they're not doing their work. They're just, they've gone so commercial. They're not, I don't know, they're not doing, I suppose the word is due diligence. And they should be, because no one else is going to do it, Jack. The drug companies are not going to study my supplements.
Not at all.
They'll try to steal them, but they're not going to study them.
So the Remag, basically in a whole, the magnesium is what you want to take if you're just looking for that ultimate balance and maybe a cloudy type of visual space life. You know, you wake up cloudy, feel unbalanced, you feel like you're groggy, no energy. Would you say the magnesium would be the first thing to kind of upstart or jumpstart the body to? Because I know when I take this shit, this packs a powerful punch. I'm gonna take a shot right now on here so you guys can see in real time what this shit does to you. Like, it gives me a shock when I take it. Sometimes I take half a cup in the morning, and then the other half, because sometimes the whole thing kind of strong. So we're gonna take one now. Okay.
We don't tell people to take it straight because it is strong. But let me tell you, here's what you're talking about.
But I feel good now. I'm just kidding.
Magnesium is required. Look, watch it keels over on the show. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so
magnesium, let me tell you what it does. It's necessary for 1,000 different metabolic processes in the body. 1,000.
1,000. 1000.
The next closest is zinc at 170. Now, zinc is huge in the COVID community. We might get there, and I've got a Pico zinc. But 1,000.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I have that next. We can talk about that next.
And that 1,000, Jack, translates into 80% of known metabolic functions. So if you want to operate with, on 80%, take your magnesium. Well, take your Remag. And what happens is in my this copy of the Magnesium Miracle, I doubled the pages because there was so much about it. I put in the book that there are 65 health conditions that are misdiagnosed as diseases, and they're really magnesium deficiency. Now that is shocking.
100%.
That should just scare the socks right. Here's the story I tell. You're stressed out. Stress will deplete your magnesium. Maybe you're an athlete, you're working outside. You're sweating out your magnesium. You are not getting it in electrolytes. If you're taking electrolyte formulas, you look at the label, it's salt and maybe some calcium and maybe a smidgen of magnesium. So you're sweating everything out. Guys in the military, they are a mess. So you go to your doctor, you're stressed out, you're low on your magnesium, but nobody knows it. Nobody's testing it. And they say, oh, your blood pressure is a little bit up. It's been up, we should give you a drug. And so they give you what's called a diuretic. And that diuretic pulls water out of you. It's like it dries you up so that there's not as much liquid going through your blood vessels and your blood pressure drops. It's purely mechanical. It's not a cure. It's not replacing your magnesium. You're losing magnesium. You go back to the doctor in a month, your blood pressure's worse. The doctor has the nerve to say, oh, we caught your blood pressure in time. Here's 2 more drugs.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So they give you what's called an ACE inhibitor and a calcium channel blocker. Now, what's interesting about the calcium is that when you don't have enough magnesium, calcium starts creeping in and starts tightening up your muscles and making you worse. So the natural calcium channel blocker is actually to take magnesium. You come back then in 2.5, 3 months because you're on 3 drugs. So the doctor said, well, we better watch for side effects.
Yeah, exactly.
And, your blood pressure is actually hardly much better. And you're starting to say, oh, I have aches and pains. I'm tired. You're a mess because you're on 3 drugs. So all of a sudden your blood tests come back with your blood sugar being elevated and your cholesterol is elevated as side effects of these drugs. And also as a side effect of magnesium deficiency, because when your magnesium is low, your cholesterol will go up and your blood sugar will go up. Diabetes is a result, or can be a result, of low magnesium. I mean, I've told your buddies that. They know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know you're talking about, like you just said, magnesium, and then you're talking about, you have to have a little bit of zinc. I've heard you talk about zinc a lot. I know when COVID first hit, that was a product that, I know we had the word to get it early, so we got it early, and then when we went to order more, the shit was sold out. So here's the Pico Zinc right here. Can you tell? This is also a liquid formula that I take every day. Explain what the zinc does and like why it's needed right now more than ever with the climate of the world we live in.
Right. Well, if you think about what, a lot of doctors tried to get people on hydroxychloroquine and zinc, but it just came across as take hydroxychloroquine, but zinc is always part of the package. Hydroxychloroquine is an anti-malaria drug. And all that it does is it opens up the cell mineral ion channel to allow the zinc to get into the cell. Got it. So like I've already said about our stabilized ionic processing, we can make a stable ion of zinc in a picometer size that just gets right into your cells.
That's the most important thing. Is the cellular thing. Because one of my friends, Memphis Depay, just came on. He's like, I think he's one of the top, soccer players soccer, football, however you want to say. And, he just came off an injury and he's having one of the best years of his career. And then, it's one of those things where it's like, what is the most important complement product that needs to go in the body when it comes to maybe coming off an injury where you're working other muscles and, dehydration and not, being able to work out as much? Is that where magnesium and zinc comes in? What would you say is the...
Magnesium for sure, because a lot of injuries are caused because the muscles are already tense from not enough magnesium.
Got it.
You got this calcium magnesium thing playing out where we're eating a lot of dairy, maybe a lot of foods are and juices are fortified with calcium. Calcium is big, especially for women. But there's always the balance. When you don't have enough magnesium, your calcium is relatively higher. Your muscles contract. And if you have enough magnesium, your muscles relax. So when you perform an action, you got to have that calcium to give you that first step action. But then you got to be able to relax that. So magnesium definitely for all athletes. If you have an injury, you're putting it on your skin. We have a Remag lotion. We just ran out of it. You know why we ran out, Jack? Because
we ordered all of them. Oh, what
The
happened?
bottles are no longer available. All the bottles in the world went to making ridiculous hand sanitizers that
Oh, so
are
you have to
ending
figure out
up.
a new bottle now to put it in.
Yeah, so we have to put it in a jar anyway.
Yeah,
But what you're going to do is you take the Remag liquid, just pour a teaspoon in your hand and rub it on your muscles, for Pete's sakes.
got it. And I've
So
done that. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. When I went to Miami and I was at Art Basel and I played in this like little celebrity game. Should have been sitting my ass down, but if somebody's saying let's play some ball, Miami's my city, of course I'm gonna go play. So I go out there, I'm playing good. The game is done, and I'm like, you know what, shit, I'm gonna see if I can still dunk. Mind you, like I don't play basketball anymore. So I try to go up and fucking dunk, get stuck, and I land on my wrist. And mind you, my wrist has been, I've had an injury in college. As you can see the picture behind me, I have tape on my wrist because it's always been like an aging kind of thing with me. And that's when I had just started getting on the products, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go to get surgery. I'm not trying to do this. My shit was swole up. And I called you, and I remember you were just saying, like, take some Remag, rub some Remag on it, put the Remag lotion, take the RNA drops, and like, literally, and this is no bullshit, like, I felt better. The swelling went down within like 4 to 5 days, and like 9 to 15 days, it was like I was playing again. But the old me in my body, I don't think it would have been able to recover that fast. But like you said, your products get to the cellular level. I think that's the biggest misconception that people get screwed up with medicine, is that like this stuff's going into the bloodstream. Like you're getting medicines going to the bloodstream, you're pissing it out. I don't know where it's going, but if you're not able to get your medicine at the cellular level, how do you expect the DNA to be perfected or to even want to understand to be perfected? So that's a little small story about your products.
And that reminds me, you mentioned about the energy you get from the Remag, and that is because in our cells, every cell, there's something called mitochondria. And inside the mitochondria, there's a Krebs cycle. And this is the cycle that produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy molecule. It is what gives us our oomph and our energy.
Oh, so that's the thing that gives you because the energy has to come from somewhere. So that's the molecule that can you break that down again? Because that was a fucking cool statement for millennials and culture to hear where the energy comes from. Because that's all we talk about now, positive vibes, vibrational frequency. So talk about where this energy comes from so we can maybe channel it better.
So in every cell, there's I guess energy making subcells, and that subcell is a mitochondria, and its job is to make energy. So it has 8 steps, and you can look that up online, the 8 steps of the Krebs cycle to make energy. Well, come to find out, 6 of those 8 steps require magnesium in order to push the chemical reaction to the next step. So you don't have energy, you're tired. I mean, at the end of a game, whatever, then you could take your magnesium and perk up. But what happens, more with women, because men push through it, but women will go to a doctor more often just, to try to figure things out. And I'm tired and I'm this and that. Instead of telling the person to take magnesium, they put them on an antidepressant. It happens all the time. Or an anti-anxiety medication. I mean, I've had players call me and say, I burnt myself out. I've got heart palpitations. I've got anxiety. I don't want to tell my coach because they'll put me on the side or put me on drugs. What can I do? And seriously, I mean, guys are, and we've been through this, Jack, because you brought 100%. Me to the NBA weekend in February just this year, and you wanted me to talk about anxiety and mental health, and it starts.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. Yeah. And like you said, the mental health, a lot of times, you know, people tell you, okay, your mental health, man, it's because you grew up here. It's because, yeah, you know, this happened here. It's because of this and that and this and that and that. You got so many people telling you why you're mentally unstable. But like you said, is that they don't take it to the core where it's like, hey, man, fuck with some magnesium. You may be magnesium deficient. Yeah. Try that. And then maybe let's see if something changes. But the first reaction to mental health or anything is like, you got to get on this drug, this antidepressant drug. Like you got anxiety. I know that shit's a real thing, but I'm thankful for you because you allow people to hear it from a different angle. And I'm sure there's tons of people on here right now that may have, you know, some anxiety issues or some depression issues. And I urge everyone on here, if you're hearing what I'm saying, like this is the formula and the product for you. So I want to fast forward past the Remag. We gave a lot of love to Remag. Oh, yeah. I have like 8 other products over here that I want to get through. So next we want to get into the zinc. Let's try to keep everyone under like 3 minutes because I have like 5 more products. So let's talk about this zinc, how important it is right now. I know we started talking about it.
Yeah, so the hydroxychloroquine for COVID made us realize that zinc was important. So I right away put this product out so that people could take that every day. And what happens with zinc, I think I said earlier, it does about 170 different metabolic processes. It's important for wound healing. It's antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. It really goes after the infections. And and it is actually, if I were to talk about prostate again, it is the mineral for the prostate.
Oh, really? Zinc is the mineral for the prostate. Let me say that loud one more time.
Yeah.
Zeke. I fucked it up. I got so hyped that I put the crowd on that I forgot what I was talking about. Let me try it again. Zinc is great for the prostate. This is like a good thing for people to know. I had to say that again because, like I said, I can only speak for myself in my platform and me. I'm an African-American man. And I know that we are losing a lot of African-American men to prostate cancer. So anyone that's on there has a family member of color that maybe is looking for that next thing to try, I highly recommend Pico Zinc. All right.
I'm just going to say to your audience, you see how hyped up Jack got after that? Do you see that?
No, for real. This shit is real. You know, I wouldn't be out here promoting and saying I take these products every day if this isn't something that I would say has really changed my life. Because at the end of the day, coming from being a you know, a superstar athlete at the collegiate level, you know, I got drafted to the NBA. Like, you know, you have everything, right? And you know, people love you, and it's like, you talk about this energy factor. When everything is great, you're always going to get positive energy. Everybody's going to be so congratulational. I don't even know if that's a word, but everybody's going to be happy to be around you because when you're happy, everyone else is always going to be happy because you're vibrating that energy. And then vice versa. If somebody's giving you great energy, it's going to automatically make you feel great. But a lot of times, especially athletes, you know, you go from being on top and then you can go from the bottom very, 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 very fast. Right. And it's very hard mentally to adapt to that because there's so many different levels to being able to cope with these things because, you know, you could have lost it all and then you find out, you know, you got a wife and your girlfriend and the family ain't really fucking with you because you ain't doing this right or boom, 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 or you got your cousin that's putting pressure, then you got to get back in the league, then you owe something. Like, so it can really just really, really weigh on you. And it's like, I believe that your products are the first step to getting out of that mental blockage that I think a lot of people can't get out when you feel like you're just going in a circle. I already tried this. I already know the same result I'm going to get. But this shit really has results. And that's going to lead me into my next product of yours that I want to talk about. And it's the Realign. I want, you know, this name of this product kind of speaks for itself, alignment, and something that you talk about so much and that we've had so many conversations about is just really having a balanced life. And kind of talk to us about what the Realign does for the body and, you know, what people can look forward to if they start to engage in this product.
Yeah, I mean, the name doesn't really say what it is, but that's what it does. It ends up that it's our B complex. and it's food-based and methylated. Again, it's going to be absorbed directly.
Hold on. Dr. Carolyn, you can't say methylated. What's the word you said? It's food and what based?
Methylated.
Come on, you got to break that word down for my people, baby.
Okay.
Methylated. What's that? What is that?
Okay, in the alternative medicine community, people are all about these genetic tests, and they're finding out they have this genetic irregularity of their MTHFR gene. And they've gone all crazy on it because this M word means methyl. And
got it.
Apparently, some people, they'll take in their B vitamins in a food or in a supplement, and they can't do the methylation process in the liver to make it work for them. So I just jump up right over that and say, okay, well, I'll give you it in methylated form, and then you don't have to worry about this ridiculous genetic test, because for the most part, people don't have genetic problems with their genes. They have problems with a little capsule. Yeah.
Yep.
They don't have problems with their genes. They have problems with what turns their genes on and off. So
got it.
Vitamins and minerals will turn your genes on and off and make them work properly for you. If you don't have the vitamins and minerals, your genes just kind of do what they do.
Stay there.
They shouldn't be allowed to work on their own. They need the support. You know, there's so much to talk about, but I have to digress and talk about the Human Genome Project. That was a $1 billion research project where they wanted to identify all the genes in the human biome. And they thought, oh yeah, we'll find 100,000 genes and that'll match all the diseases. And, you know, we get a person's genes, they got a problem, we'll cut that gene out. Just like I, sarcastically talked about cutting out the stupidity gene.
Exactly.
Well, come to find out at the end of their research, there's only 23,000 genes in our cells. So they wanted to find 100,000 so that
they only found 23,000.
Right, 23,000. They wanted to mess with them. And then they thought, oh my gosh, I guess we can't do anything. So they actually turned their back on that. And this gene research went into the public, and people now are buying their genetic test. 23andMe is one of them. I don't know. Have you heard of that? People getting
I've heard of it. Yeah, I heard of that 23andMe and all that. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
But this is my thing. When these things come out of nowhere, they don't just come out of nowhere. There is a higher type of, I don't want to use the word manipulation, but I want to say higher reasoning behind it. Like, because the research, I'm sure, has been out for years. Why do you think now they chose to, let's start putting this stuff out? Is because scientists are seeing more things about the body is changing, where, people's DNA is changing. Why now do they choose to start to try to push this narrative?
Well, like I said, when I was in university in the early 70s, I was going to be a geneticist. That was hot. It was hot. But it took from, the 70s right through to, I think it was only like 15 years ago they did the Genome Project, because they just didn't have the technology. But, what I'm saying is, when they didn't get the results they wanted, they didn't say, oh, it's the vitamins and minerals that turn the genes on and off. We should study that. No. They just pushed it aside and went, because they just want a drug model.
Exactly.
And
that's what I was going to say.
The gene testing into the public, which I think screws a lot of people up, because you will get a printout saying, these are your top genetic variations that will mean you're going to get sick and die early. Now,
so that's what I mean. That's what I meant. That's what I meant about the manipulation, not in a way where they're trying to manipulate people, but that when you get something and you read something that says, these are your genes, you're most likely going to catch this, that, and this. that automatically, you talk about this energy thing, right? That's already in us, that's already there, that's going to be given. As soon as you read that, your body is going to have an adverse effect or defect to that. So my point is, do they do that for you to be like, oh shit, I got this, and then they partnered on the back end with the insurance company that has the medical thing? Like, is this kind of like this whole world of medicine where it's like, yes, we're going to give you what you need and the information that is present that we can find, but also we're going to put you in this fucking bowl of soup with everybody else, and you're going to have to get this medicine from here, and then when that's done, we're going to give you something else. So explain that, because I know that's not the approach that you take with your medicine. So how do you kind of balance that in a world full of that?
Yeah, so what's happened with this gene testing, I mean, I wouldn't get it. I thought I'd get it, and then I decided, I read the fine print, I looked into it. They own your blood.
They own your blood?
They own your blood, and they can own your genes. And if they find something really special, they can
take that.
mess with it. And what they're doing is they'll send out letters to people. Oh, you have a high incidence of having Alzheimer's. Let's put you in this study so we can find out what drug will help you. So it's all about the drugs. It's all about them wanting to do the research without a thought of the vitamins and minerals that make your genes turn on or off. And that's where, I come into the picture and say, no, let's just keep your cells as healthy as possible. Take nutrients that work, not the synthetic ones. I mean, people have probably seen the articles that say, well, this vitamin study showed that the vitamin actually killed you.
Oh, speaking of vitamins,
news. That is,
you have a vitamin product. This is Whole C Reset. This is your version of vitamin C. So you walk yourself right into this one.
Yeah.
I've taken this. Well, this is a newer product. This is like 2 years old, a year and a half old, the Whole C.
It's only a year old. It's only a year. Yeah, so explain to me, because, you're talking about the vitamins as of now and what the researchers say. And, I mean, GNC has every fucking vitamin that you can ever think to, man. I'm like, ain't no way in the world that all these goddamn vitamins do the same thing and they selling the same shit. It's like, come on, where's the jug here? So I want you to talk about your Whole C. You don't even call this shit vitamin C. You call it Whole C Reset. Yeah. So explain the name and what this I don't want to call it a vitamin. What does this product do? Right. Well, it's look how you are not allowed to take Remag during our next interview. You are way too hyper. Okay? Way too hyper.
Did get hype after I took that. You know what? This is going to be a proven thing, because when this shit, what? See? It's all you know what? All right, let's get back.
Okay.
Let's get back to the Whole C. Okay.
So what you're saying is right. I mean, you have all these vitamins and minerals lined up in GNC or whatever, and most of them are synthetic. Mm-hmm. What this Whole C is, it's food-based. It's from berries. It's natural. And we need our vitamin C. I mean, think about the elderly people and their arms are all scarred up with bruises and red spots and everything. They have scurvy.
Scurvy?
Yeah. You've heard of scurvy? That's a vitamin C deficiency. Your gums bleed when you have scurvy. You bruise easily. And it's the collagen in your blood start forming. And but when you have vitamin C as a food, then the body, I mean, from head to foot, you've got collagen. You've got areas in the body that require the vitamin C. The heart requires it. But if you don't have it, then you as I said, your blood vessels start leaking, and there's a lot of information about vitamin C, but it has to be in one part of it has to be in natural form. We've got another vitamin C that's ascorbic acid that in high doses, that's for the infectious side of things.
Got it.
The formulas that I created just by, synchronicity. I was putting together the immunity formulas last fall before I even knew about COVID.
Yeah,
and
so you already prepared.
Yeah, they are the zinc, the vitamin C's, the
Hold on. Zinc.
Yeah, and
What's
pico
next?
silver.
Vitamin C. Come on now, come on, Doc. I'm equipped with the shit.
Pico silver.
So, okay, we talked about the vitamin C, and that's great. And now let's, because the vitamin C and the pico silver, I don't want to say they're a lot the same, but these two products were products that you talked about that were very crucial during COVID. Like, make sure you stack up on your vitamin C and stack up on your pico silver. Can you break down why those two products are very important to, for life and especially now during this COVID?
Well, about the vitamin C, there's a whole group of doctors that have been using vitamin C intravenously for really bad infections for like decades. So I belong to a group that we put out information in, the orthomolecular medicine group. And we are just shocked that our information about vitamin C and magnesium and silver and vitamin D, it's being suppressed. You do not hear about the things that could help keep you healthy, or if you get sick, what you could take. I mean, vitamin D is so crucial for the immune system. And if you have a lot of melanin going on your skin, you are not getting as much sunshine vitamin D as you should be, and you are low in vitamin D, and you are more susceptible to COVID. Take that. Really.
So it's almost like a protection, not a protection, but if you're low in it, you might want to add it, and it kind of gives you that protection of. So, what would you say the COVID kind of like the strand and things about it? I want to get back into your product since we talked about COVID, and I know this is something that a lot of people want to speak about because it's something that's putting fear in a lot of people. I mean, you'd be an idiot to say that you think this is not real. It's a real thing. Right. What are your outtakes or outlooks on this virus? Is it as severe as they say it is? I know they say people are getting them, but they're not dying. What is your outlook on the whole COVID-19? And is there going to be a COVID 2021, 22? I mean, it's right on time with what the year it is. It's 2020. So can you talk about that?
Well, okay. We get a virus attack, influenza attack every year. We call it the flu season. Yep. 20% of the viruses we've been getting are coronaviruses.
Oh, really?
So I think personally that the COVID did get manipulated a bit in a lab, and then we're dealing with it now. So you've got that going on. So it made it a little stronger. And I think I think it's getting weaker because not so many people are getting sick with it. So there's that. But there's also, we haven't really delved into how sick our population is. Our population is really messed up.
Yeah.
70% of adults are on some sort of medication. 70% of them have chronic diseases. What did we start hearing about COVID right away? Well, if you got comorbidities, then you're more susceptible.
Yep.
Now they said it was obesity, diabetes, heart disease, a number of other things. Jack, they never said it's the drugs you're on as well.
They can't put that out.
No. They never said you're low in magnesium, which in the 1920s was used to treat polio, for Pete's sakes. Magnesium.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they never said you're low in vitamin C or vitamin D. So we're stuck with this incredible deluge of fear-based information about COVID and nothing to help us say, oh, I can protect myself. I can take these nutrients. I mean, I'm not scared of this. You know, nothing scares me. So
Of course you're not. You got all the formulas that make you live forever. Nobody's gonna be scared. You got all the. I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
hold on, I want to say one thing about the fear-based thing, and we talked about the mental aspect of total biology and about how certain emotional attachments could cause adverse effects in your body. And we'll go back to this COVID thing. COVID is spread through the media at a high rate. I mean, it's a high rate, and yes, it is real. And yes, it is a fear-based thing. With the energy beam and all these things we talk about, could this fear-based reality of this COVID also put you into maybe an area where you may be may have a higher chance of catching it if you're in this fear-based frequency?
Absolutely. I mean, just think for yourself whenever you've got a little scratch in your throat and you think, oh God, now I'm sick. And it's now if at that moment you can, drink some tea and take some vitamin C and go to bed, you'll wake up good.
Wake up good, yep.
If you don't do that, then oh my gosh. I used to get cold sores before I was on my products. I get these, herpes infections on my lips.
Yeah.
And I would feel a little tingling. I go, damn, and the next day it would. So if something like that's happening, here I am in Maui. I get sun blisters. They're called sun blisters. And here I am in Maui. But if I get a little tingle, I have stuff to take and it's gone.
You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So the fear will just, it'll just keep it going. I had a doctor friend once and he had a type of leukemia. And I said, "What? Why are you getting leukemia? You're supposed to be healthy." And he said a patient came in who had leukemia and started talking about it really strong and really fearful. And he said something hit me when she was saying that. It was like this negative force hit me, and I knew I was going to get it. It's that's like, the bad juju. It's just 100%. Incredible. And we have to stay away from that. It's like there's a placebo effect, which is a positive thing. You've been talking about that already. But there's the nocebo effect, which is the negative. You bring the negative in and it's like you attract it. You frown, you go around, you're nervous, you're not going to have anyone smiling at you, but you're smiling. Everybody's going to smile back. And what is it? Everything elevates the boat. What's that phrase?
I don't know, but when you're smiling and you're happy, your vibrational frequency almost elevates you out the water. You're not swimming anymore. You elevate. You're walking on water. Shit. So I want to get into another product. We have a couple more, and it's the Recalcia. And we talked about the bones, and I know, calcium, calcia. I'll put the two together for that. But yours is called Recalcia. Yeah. Explain how important it is to have the right amount of calcium and how important it is to have it come in at the cellular level, which is because this is a liquid.
Right. The whole calcium business, I've already said I'm not a fan of calcium because it pushes magnesium down. It keeps us tight. Calcification is related to aging. So we want to have enough magnesium to keep the calcium soluble, and then the magnesium will push the calcium into the bones where it belongs. We've got people developing calcifications on their carotid arteries, on their coronary arteries, on their kidney arteries, and causing a lot of disease. Calcification is not good, but we do need calcium for our bones. So it's a matter of balancing it with magnesium. I did not put out the Recalcia for a long time because I wanted people to get their calcium from their foods. When you look at the RDA, the recommended daily allowance of calcium, it's sky high. It's like 1,200, 1,500 milligrams. But in World Health Organization in the United Kingdom, they say you only need 600 milligrams. So half of what we're being told to take here. And we've been pushing this high calcium on especially women for osteoporosis for decades. All it's done is make us more calcified and even give women more heart disease because of the calcification in the coronary arteries. So what I say to people, okay, if you're not eating any dairy, if you're not getting what fish bones or whatever, if you can look at your diet list and see that you're not taking enough calcium, if your blood calcium levels are low, then you can take a teaspoon or two of the Recalcia.
Yeah.
It's 300 milligrams a teaspoon, so you could get your whole daily amount in 2 teaspoons. But I tell people to be wary of the Recalcia. I have it there, you know, there was a time when I was not eating any dairy and my knees started to ache.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay, that's calcium. I just knew. So I took it and I was fine. So I realized, okay, I got to give,
Got to mix it in.
It's not a big seller. It's something that some people need. So I put it out.
Got it. So the next product I want to talk about is the Flora Revive. This is a very new product. And this is something that I know you pretty much swear by. And if you notice, all of your products, this one is the only one that has a different purple tint to it. So is this like special than everything else? Everything else is green. This is like nothing. This is like a little blue, but this is like a strong purple. Is that because this is like when you were like, I got to put the purple label on this one. This is special. Tell me about Flora Revive.
Here's the first thing, Jack. One of my middle names is Flora.
Oh.
So it's
one of them.
It is my product. Yeah, I'm named after my 2 grandmothers, Flora Ann. So yeah, I spent a couple years on this product. What it is, it's a probiotic and an antifungal. It's got a natural antifungal in there because what we were talking about earlier, the yeast overgrowth. We all, you know, all of us, men, women, kids, we're all suffering from overgrowth of yeast. We're eating a lot of fruit. We're eating a lot of sugar. I didn't say this. I should have said it with the whole C reset. If you try to get the 250 milligrams of vitamin C that's in the whole C reset in fruit, you will give yourself diabetes.
What?
So,
say that one more time. Say that again. If you say it again, please. Can you repeat that?
If you try to get all your vitamin C in fruit form, which, you know, fruit is high in vitamin C. Okay, let me eat fruit.
You mean oranges and bananas,
Yeah, you can cause diabetes because of the high fructose, fruit sugar in fruit. You can seriously cause diabetes. And it's really sad because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, fruit's healthy. I'll eat as much as I want. You can get diabetes and very high triglycerides. If you've been told that your cholesterol has been high and your triglycerides are high, you may be eating too much fruit.
Wow.
Okay.
That's why isn't this is what I'm saying. Why isn't this type of information, I mean, maybe it's out there, but I don't see it out there. I mean, I don't do too much research on health because I don't like to get into that vibrational frequency of like, oh, something's wrong. So I just take the products. I feel great. I work out. You know what I mean? I might smoke my tree over here and there, but like, I feel healthy. I stay healthy. You know what I mean? You get checkups. I've got a checkup before and I'm great, but it's just one of those things where, especially at this point, it's good to stay out of that fear-based reality because, I mean, it's so easy right now to get sidetracked, whether it's your life, whether it's business, whether it's relationship, just with all the stuff that we see on the news. We just saw a debate yesterday with Trump and Biden. We're seeing some other stuff. The police officers just that killed got off. So it's just like, it's so many things happening that could put you in the emotional roller coaster. So that's why I really want to have you on here because I believe your products are the
bomb.
Stopping.
They're the bomb, Jack.
You're definitely the bomb, but you're like that breath of fresh air when the roller coaster stops and you get off. You're like, fuck, I'm fine. Like that's the feeling that these products give you of like, oh God, I'm good. You know what I mean? You have nothing to worry about. So that's why I think it was important for you to come on here. And there's still one more product that I want to talk to you about.
But we did the Flora Revive. Remember we talked about prostatitis right at the beginning? This is what you take for prostatitis. You take the Flora Revive for the yeast part of the prostatitis. You take Pico Silver because it's an antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. It's kind of like zinc, but it's what should I say? What Pico Silver does, it heals wounds. So if you've got intestinal wounds, you know, little ulcers, the leaky gut I talked about, it'll help that. So it helps what the yeast is going to do to irritate your gut. The Pico Silver does. And Pico Silver, it will help you make new cells. I mean,
it will help you make,
yeah,
it'll help you make new cells. I want to explain, because our cells are constantly growing, cutting off, and reproducing, growing, cutting off, and reproducing. So in this reproduction process, does it help you grow better cells, or does it let you grow faster? Like, what does it do to the cells?
Okay, two things there. What the product that grows better cells is the RNA reset drops. I mean, that's it. Yeah, that's the magic.
Yeah, that's the magic. This right here is this that shit right here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So the Pico Silver, that's going to, in your bone marrow, where you start off making your cells, like they start out, they're all the same, and then they differentiate into the different tissues. This stuff actually helps your bone marrow cell production. And there's nothing better than that. The thing about silver, Jack, it's still used in hospitals. They soak gauze, cotton gauze in silver compound solutions, and they put it on people who have these horrible total body.
Oh, really?
Burns.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it cures burns. It is so powerful, but because it can't be patented as a drug, then they don't promote it. Seriously.
Okay.
So anyway, and then the Pico Silver is doing that, but the RNA drops, this stuff is magic. I mean, I learned about the RNA drop, the basis of it, like 40 years ago.
Okay.
Man, more like 30 years ago. And I've always wanted to make it. And finally, when I had the production and the warehouse and all, I got back around to it. This stuff is just made from barley seeds. It sort of takes from the Bible the importance of the grains and how if you just germinate them, you can create a liquid. There's a lot more going on. You create a liquid. What we were trying to do in the beginning with this was make a water purifier, a personal water purifier. The side effect was these drops came along. So
this is a byproduct. This wasn't even supposed to be the thing.
Yeah.
This is oh, nice.
But then the bigger byproduct that gives me the experiment to talk about this was when we took the remains of the barley seeds. We dried up what was left over. We did not throw it out. We do not throw anything out. We dried up what we call the barley straw, and we started using it as a fertilizer. So this stuff, it's a probiotic, prebiotic, it gives the RNA and DNA better blueprint to copy, to make.
It's funny you say that. Bill Gates has been talking about RNA and DNA. So it's, you know, right now that's a thing where people are like, what's RNA and what's DNA? And like, you know, your products, it kind of takes it back to that. So, you know, it's not like what you're talking is like left field. It's actually things, and you can back up what you're talking about. A lot of times with doctors, they can't really back up the medicine because they even took the medicine before. How are you going to tell me how prednisone works if you never even took prednisone in your body? You know, you just know the effects it has. So, and I know that's one thing that you say. You would never tell anyone to take a product if you haven't already tried it and know that it works for you, you know?
So what happened with this leftover barley straw, I call it Mighty Mash, and I'm using it in farming experiments. So the first one we did up country here in Maui, it's a farm that I support. We dug the Mighty Mash into a plot and planted radish seeds. And another plot, we just planted the radish seeds, didn't do anything to it. And after 26 days, the radishes were, through their life cycle. We harvested 85 pounds of beautiful radishes from the Mighty Mash plot. And from the non-Mighty Mash plot, we got 3 pounds.
So you got 85 pounds with the Mighty Mash, and then you got 3 pounds with the regular. So I ain't gonna say nothing, but if y'all heard that, y'all heard that.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. Because okay, so here's what happens. This stuff has life. Probiotics, prebiotics, it's living, so there's still life in this Mighty Mash barley straw. And when you have something that's alive and healthy, it's not going to allow weeds to grow, which it didn't. It's not going to allow worms to come around and eat, which it didn't. It's not going to allow predators. It's actually going to grow the soil bacteria to make these plants just gorgeous. The other, without any amendments at all the worms came around and chewed up all those radishes. The weeds were just over everything. So we only got 3 pounds of good looking radishes. The rest were a mess. And what happened recently, I was seeing this documentary, Woody Harrelson, who lives on the island. His kids go to school with with the farmers' kids.
Yeah.
Woody, he narrated a documentary called Kiss the Ground. Mm-hmm. Now, it should have been Kiss the Earth or Kiss the Soil, but anyways, Kiss the Ground. So he's talking about how the soil is dead with all the fertilizers and the kill. The soil is dead. It's not soil anymore. It's not even dirt. It's dust. And it's dead. And they're bemoaning this, and the way you get rid of climate carbon dioxide is the carbon dioxide will come down into the plants, all these plants back here, the carbon dioxide comes down and goes into the soil. That's how you deal with climate change. And what they were saying, I was really inspired during the first part of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, Mighty Mash is the answer. I have to build another warehouse and start up in my production of Mighty Mash. And at the end, their solution was, well, we have to get huge farms, hundreds of thousands of acres, and let the cows roam around on the farm and drop their manure. And then we gently plow, we don't dig it all up, and then plant our, vegetables. I mean, that is going to take a lot of time and money and effort when we can just dig in the Mighty Mash. So seriously, I mean,
also aha moment. That's a great moment, right? Aha moment for you right there. Did not make that step.
Because I know your dad Mighty Mash. So we've got it out there. We're doing our very gentle experiments, but this could seriously change a lot in our world if we were able to produce food that was alive, save the atmosphere. See, this is what innovation does, Jack. I mean, they may say climate change is killing us. I don't believe that. I think that we are so smart that we'll be able to solve these problems. We do not, you don't stop where you are. You don't go backwards, you go forward. And you find solutions. I mean, that's what our brains are built for Pete's sake.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I just want to first of all, go back and say once again and state the fact that, once again, thank you so much for coming on this show, because I know some people may not know you're one of the, you're, people say top 5, you're one of the top doctors in the world at all levels, medical doctor, naturopathic doctor. And you had previous and several universities write about you. Your husband's on the breaking age of doing amazing things. You guys have, always had your hands open for me if any knowledge that I've wanted on, just understanding media or understanding my health or my perspective on how I look at things. So I just want to say thanks for being that almost like family. You might as well say we're family. And I said, everybody that's on this live, that has watched this live, I back these products, and you know, this is not a, you know, I don't have equity in this company or nothing. This is real shit. These products work. It doesn't take a lot of time to do it. And if you're like me, I do not like waking up and working out every day. I don't want to wake up, but these products, not saying you don't got to work out, you should still be active. But if you don't want to do shit, at least take these products so you could jumpstart your body to maybe potentially get to that next level. But if you don't jumpstart your body, you're just going to deteriorate. And for me, I'd rather take products that I know that work for me, that you can also break down. Like, you're able to break down every product. And that's why I wanted to really go through them, because you can really explain how this shit works. So
yeah.
Is there anything?
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time. I mean, I don't get this in an interview usually. It's awesome.
People need to hear this.
I mean, we're entrepreneurs, and that's what keeps the world going. It's our small and getting bigger businesses.
100%.
And
100%.
help promote each other, and I feel so much love for you guys. It's
100%.
Jermaine. It's just wonderful. I really appreciate it.
You've helped us so much. I mean, you don't know what you've done for us in your life with your products, and the least I could do is bring you on here, and you could talk about everything you got going on. I know you have even more amazing things that are going on. Everybody that's been watching, I will put this on my page. So if you missed any of this information, I think it's crucial that you hear it now. Like Dr. Carolyn Dean said, we are living in a very fear-based reality. And a lot of these symptoms that you're getting is not from this COVID or whatever. It's this fear-based. So let's get out of that and have the complete balance. And her products will give you the exact complete balance you need. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This is another episode of Step Back with Jack with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Thank you so much.